Roddy Piper. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The guy's just the best, man. Sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll pop on a Roddy Piper promo or watch a show where he did commentary, and 5 minutes later, I'm good to go again. The best thing about Piper is, in his later years, he kept himself super busy with a lot of acting gigs, which is great for YouTubers like me. That's why today I'm going to be looking at Celebrity Wrestling, an ITV production from 2005 that featured the Hot Rod as one of the hosts. This British game show was packed to the gills with some of the UK's most prominent C-list celebrities doing battle in a series of physical contests to claim supremacy. Think Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling meets American Gladiators, but minus the actual wrestling for some reason. So what happens when a Canadian, playing a Scotsman, goes to England to film some primetime chaos? Let's find out, but first, be sure to subscribe to Wrestling with Regret if you haven't already. It's as easy to do as it is to say the show's cool and catchy tagline.
And guys, it's time to bring it on!
It's alright. The first thing I have to give the show props for is that each episode opens with The Undertaker's best theme. Yes! Then we go to the George Lucas soundstage in London, where the audience is screaming their heads off, and we open with lead presenter Kate Thornton, who introduces her Hall of Fame co-star. The celebs are split into two teams, the Crusaders in red and the Warriors in blue. Wow, so creative! And each team is coached by a bona fide pro wrestling star. The Crusaders are led by the first ever Eurocontinental champion and Aces and Eights' own D'Lo Brown. And the Warriors coach is Joe E. Legend, a Canadian journeyman with a very presumptuous name. Legend is perhaps best known as a member of Red Shirt Security in TNA, and before that for his brief time in the WWF in the early aughts as Just Joe.
Who are you?
I'm just Joe. I'm just Joe.
I'm just Joe.
Gotta admit, when it comes to wrestling star power, Roddy and D'Lo are doing the heavy lifting here. Then again, Legend did spend a lot of his career in Europe, so maybe he's just more over in England? My guess is they wanted Al Snow, who was still with WWE at the time, so they just found somebody who kinda looked like him. The competitors were your typical mix of semi-retired athletes, media personalities, and other entertainers, with the occasional wild card thrown in. For instance, the red team featured TV people Jenny Powell, Mark Speet, and Jeff Brazier, Page 3 girl Leilani Dowding, former teen pop star Michelle Heaton, and James Hewitt, the military officer who became famous after boinking Princess Diana. Hey, America's not the only place where celebrity status is sexually transmitted. Then on the blue team, there's Big Brother alum Kate Lawler, no relation to Jerry, 1987's best tennis player and Annabelle Croft, world champion sprinter Ewan Thomas, actor Mark Bannerman, Oliver Skeet, who gained fame for being black in the world of show jumping, and Victoria Silvstedt, Playmate of the Year?
Hello, Victoria Silvstedt, Playmate of the Year.
Every episode, a group of celebs from each team would face off in one-on-one competitions, both for team points and individual points, tallied each week to determine the winning team and individual champions at the end. The competitors all came out with flashy gimmicks and stage names, like Dowding was the Ice Vixen, James Hewitt was Gentleman Jim, Skeet was Rebel Rider, Bannerman was El Diablo, Ewan Thomas was the Dragon, and so on. Real original stuff. So now that we have a legendary pro wrestler as host and wrestlers as coaches and all these gimmicks, now it's time to get into the wrestling of Celebrity Wrestling. Let's see some of these events.
Murder ball. Armed and dangerous. Neck brawl. Chain reaction. Wrecking ball. Raging pole.
And then there are gonna be wrestling matches too, right? No matter what the competition was called, the objective was usually some version of push your opponent off the big platform. You could wrestle them off, push them off with a big stick, push them off with a big inflatable wall, or maybe a giant ball. My, all the ways you can fall. But sometimes in events that didn't require falling, they would randomly lower the solid steel cage, which added nothing to the matches except for an obscured view. But hey, wrestling! And holy crap, that's a bit of a slant, isn't it? I mean, a team mostly made up of media personalities having all these physical challenges with a team mostly made up of pro athletes? I smell a fix. Sometimes celebs would get injured and would be quietly replaced with an alternate waiting in the wings, usually some other retired footballer or TV show host. And in some cases, the team members wouldn't face each other, but instead a masked mystery celebrity. Then when the round was over, they'd unmask and it would be this lady, this guy. How about this pro athlete? I'm sorry, UK viewers, but I don't recognize any of these people on the show. Is this how you all feel when we Americans get nostalgic about our culture? Commentary during the show is decent. David Goldstrom, known primarily for ski jump analysis, handles the live action fairly well. Piper chimes in after the matches, but there just aren't enough of those classic Piperisms to go around.
Wham, bam, there's your slam. It's catwalk to catfight. 1, 2, the ring is Warrior Blue.
In fact, the whole thing seems like a waste of Piper's talents in general. It's bad enough he's being made to endorse something that is so not wrestling, but he just seems so contained, so scripted, not your optimal Piper.
It's like a traditional Japanese fat boy dust-up.
And did I mention how repetitive all this was? They couldn't even get through 2 episodes before repeating an event. This isn't pro wrestling, it's a version of sumo wrestling, if that. And if the celebrities aren't actually wrestling, what the hell was the point of having the trainers be wrestlers? What are they going to teach them? I mean, they're fine motivators and trainers in their own right, but this is all just strength and cardio. Is D'Lo going to teach James Hewitt how to do the head wiggle? Is Joe Legend going to teach Annabelle Croft the oh my god elbow drop? Hell no. So despite having no actual wrestling, ITV sprinkled a bunch of other wrestling-related things onto it to make it work, like hiring pro wrestlers and giving people costumes and nicknames and a steel cage and whatever. But you know what this show really could have used? Some drama. Because of the physical mismatches, it was pretty evident early on that the blue team was going to win the whole enchilada. Celebrity wrestling seems tailor-made for cross-team beef and interpersonal rivalries, but everyone's so damn polite that hardly anyone speaks out of turn.
He's a very strong man. He fought very well, but I think he spoke too much.
El Diablo was quality on the night. He come at me, he done very well representing his team.
Lalonde put up a great fight in Sumo Slam. She was tougher than I thought she'd be.
He's a strong lad, so I just had to get straight in the care point early on.
Apparently, ITV made a concerted effort to emphasize the competition over the showmanship and trash talking, so everything is weirdly sterile. It's so bland and indistinct, it makes English cuisine seem exotic. Still, the Brits didn't seem to mind all the polite shoving, as the show brought in great ratings at first. But a couple of weeks after debuting, the BBC dropped a TARDIS-sized dump on ITV's hopes and dreams with a much-awaited reboot. The numbers soon dried up, and celebrity wrestling was quickly shoved from Saturday nights to Sunday mornings in its final weeks. This show was so desperate for tension that D'Lo and Just Joe had to create some of their own to feel alive again. Okay, finally, now we're gonna get some wrestlers wrestling, right?
Look at the start, it's down there, Joe Legend swings and goes straight off balance into the...
You know what? I wonder what else is on.
Get off me, motherfucker!
My name is Roddy Piper, and this is my world.
Now here's a program that shows Piper at his best, Season 2 of World of Hurt. This was a short-lived Canadian reality show from the early 2010s, airing on The Cave, which is now known as History 2. The first season featured Lance Storm working with a group of young independent wrestlers with a dream, breaking down their weaknesses and working to get them ready for the next level, all culminating in a big live show and a final judgment from Coach Storm. There were no points or grand prizes or eliminations or any of that, just each wrestler and their stories. The initial cast featured a few people who'd go on to bigger things, like Tennille Dashwood, Taya Valkyrie, and Tom LaRuffa, who played Sylvester LaFour in NXT. The second and final season carried on in much the same way. The format was duplicated almost beat for beat from Season 1, and it wasn't just some of the shots they reused either. A few of the wrestlers, Valkyrie, Casey Spinelli, and Dylan Knight, came back for another go as well. Knight and Spinelli, who come from the far-off lands of Australia and New Jersey respectively, are cast as assistant trainers this season, which just means they're under somewhat less scrutiny than the others, and they get to be really mean to them.
What the f*** are you doing here?
Shut up! I'm the trainer here. When I talk, you f***ing listen.
Quit the f***ing about and let's get down to training.
There's no need to get all rude.
F*** you.
Ah yes, I remember my first year as a camp counselor. My only year, actually. Then there's the real star of this show, the new head trainer, the national treasure, Roddy Piper. They're serious about that nickname too. They put it in the intro and the end credits. Pity that name never stuck.
It's a world of hurt. It's a world of hurt.
Ah, he did the thing! As you might expect, Piper is on every moment the camera rolls. He can be funny, he can be nasty, he can be deep and emotional and wail like a banshee, sometimes all in the same scenes. He's harsh as hell, but hardly ever unfair in his criticisms.
You seem to want to do it one way, you seem to want to do it another way. It's very interesting because you both do it wrong. And when you're ready, you're going to reverse it. Yeah, motherfucker! As he's helping you come out as a heel, you need to incite him. You need to hit those chords that he needs hit. You need to be careful to not make yourself look like a puppet. Are you a fighter?
Yeah.
I didn't get that part. Two guys sounding the same, looking the same, bouncing the same. How boring.
Oh no, my recurring nightmare of Piper being disappointed in me is gonna come back tonight, isn't it? His training regimen is hilarious. He screams out entire sequences at the students. He thinks every heel should leave the ring like 5 times in the first 3 minutes of a match. And if you need help with a promo, just have a spare Roddy Piper on hand to shout it at you.
I can do anything I want to do.
I can do anything I want to do.
You call me a chicken.
You call me a chicken.
Slap the snot right out of you.
I'll slap the snot right out of you.
But the real beauty of this series is Piper's one-on-one meetings with all the wrestlers. Shit gets awkward and tense and emotional and very real whenever the hot rod starts psychoanalyzing his students.
I've been working out regularly for 2 years.
Well, how come you're so hurt? What's hurting you in your heart so much right now? Do you hug your daddy? Do you tell your daddy that it's too much? What's going on? Why is your heart tore up? You got too many people in your head. You need to open up and meet him.
Do you ever wonder what it'd be like if Domaniac was your therapist?
Has this been here the whole time?
What?
So Dad left. What happened?
There had been some domestic violence problems. I was happy about it.
Geez, how many people in wrestling can say they got mind bent by Roddy Piper while he played piano for you? No one can escape Piper's steely glare or his power of perception or his hand holding. And that means we get tears, baby. Finally, this is the kind of stuff I was missing from celebrity wrestling.
Well, how come you're so hurt? What's hurting you in your heart so much right now?
I don't know, Roddy. I don't know why I hurt. I went to London looking for some pilly gimmick, and the next thing I know, I'm pushing the guy from EastEnders off a platform. I don't know what the hell you playing the piano for, Roddy?
It was clear that Piper's goal in this series was to take a deep dive into the students' vulnerabilities, their burdens, and their trauma, and get them to transfer those real emotions through their wrestling personae, because that makes them more relatable and believable to the audience. It's a pretty brilliant exercise for the wrestlers, and it provides some of the most genuine moments on the show. But this being reality TV, for all the times it feels like these wrestlers are having some heartfelt moments, there are also plenty of times on this show that feel fake as hell. Most of the locker room stuff seems totally scripted and nobody feels natural. This blocking is more blatant than in WWE. Some people like Knight, Spinelli, Randy Myers, and Brady Malibu appear to be in character all the time, while others with less experience try to be themselves, which seems to me like a lack of direction by the showrunners. At least Malibu's good for a laugh.
That was me and Bishop, big guy, small guy. Well, big guy, medium-sized guy. I think he probably lost some brain cells. He needed those brain cells, and now they're gone.
As I mentioned, each episode focuses on one wrestler and their story over the 2-week training period, which means that after 6 episodes, we hear from all of their opponents, and then a lot of the footage gets really overused. They walk into the gym, they sign in, they get a free copy of Roddy's book, they go to their lockers, which never ever seem to close properly. Then they have the first meeting with Roddy, they work out, they have promo class, they work out some more, Roddy plays therapist, they have their match as Piper watches, then they have their final sit down with the coach.
I'd move to LA where there's a movie industry.
Yeah, oh, I love acting.
Get real with what you're doing, and then I want to hear from you. There's no doubt in my mind that you have a future if you want one. I want you to call me and tell me your progression.
Do you think I have what it takes to go somewhere?
If you can get your shit together,
yeah.
Yes.
Everyone has a unique storyline on the show, though some episodes are more interesting than others, like how rookie Taya Valkyrie is still trying to find herself after drastically changing her look. 19-year-old Bambi Hall's a second-generation wrestler, hoping to make her mother proud, and 18-year vet Vance Nevada is at a crossroads in his life where he wonders if pursuing his career is worth being away from his family.
Come on, Daddy. Sunset flip him, Dad. Hey, Daddy. I'm crying, Daddy.
That's not my dad! That's not my dad!
Speaking of dads, in Ravenous Randy's episode, Piper tells him to reach out to his estranged father and invite him to the show, and he actually makes the call.
Dad, it's Theo.
Theo.
Hey, it's been a long time, huh?
It's a very gripping and emotional moment, except that wasn't actually Randy's dad on the line, but rather a wrestling promoter who played along after Randy had given him the heads up.
I'd like it if you could make it.
A wrestling show? I don't know.
Man, gotta love it when the workers outwork the reality TV people. There's also Cam Akazi, which is a real pain in the ass of a name for SEO purposes. He's apparently dealing with some heartache in his episode, while his opponent, Nick Price, just happens to rekindle a relationship with Casey Spinelli during his. Like, yeah, this is a good place for that. Those young flippy guys and their lady issues. Also, how is it Cam's hair and eyes don't turn invisible once he stands in front of the green screen? Not even a little?
I'm gonna work hard to be the fastest. I'm gonna work hard to be the strongest. And
stay with it.
These promo class scenes are all pretty great, actually. Each of them cuts a subpar promo, and Piper has them dig down deep into what's going on in their lives to bring out something genuine. We have people fighting through tears when they're cutting these promos, and even if the revised versions aren't perfect, they're still a big step in the right direction.
You want to cheer for Sammy Hall? You don't even know her. And the more you cheer for her, the more I'm gonna break her down.
I like you. I think you're a nice little fella.
I think you're a nice little fella.
By the way, shout out to Kyle Sebastian for having one of the best bad promos you'll hear all season.
So if you think I'm Justin Bieber, you can just Bieber my balls.
At one point, Piper is so disappointed with the female wrestlers, he must take drastic action.
Disappointed in their performance, Roddy decides to strip the female wrestlers of their singles matches for the live event.
Oh, but there isn't anyone on this show more controversial than the powerhouse princess Lila Lodge. Full disclosure, I briefly trained with Lila when she came through Buddy and Ed's school many years ago, and I personally never had a problem with her. I always thought she was cool, but she does not come off good on this show. Like, at all.
You want to talk about respect? I not disrespected you once.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Hey.
Both of you. I hate both of you. All I did was ask if she was mad. Oh my God!
Let's all
We
talk.
just said we were gonna go and talk to everybody. I've flown across the country 3 times. You've gone on record of saying that.
I never wanted to quit. I just wanted a 3-minute clip.
Are you finished talking?
And I'm a quality human being.
Whether it's through her own actions or the power of editing or both, no one here seems less relatable or likable than Lila. In her episode, she's painfully timid in the ring. She completely disconnects from criticism, and she has the most emotional outbursts out of anyone. She's seen bitching to everyone about everyone. She says they all have evil bones in their body. Everyone else buries the hell out of her in exchange. It is just not a good look overall. At least Brady Malibu is clearly in character the whole time, which explains why he's so annoying. I'm not so sure Lila's doing the same here. The other cast members do a lot of body shaming as well, which on its own I think is unfair because body diversity is a thing in wrestling, but you do need to be able to back it up in the ring, which sadly she can't do here.
Damn. Figure it out. If that's as hard as you could hit, I'm in no trouble at all.
When it's time for her match, she gives her boyfriend Dash Venture a smooch at ringside during her entrance. You might recall seeing Dash in the Ultimate Deathmatch movies, a film series in which wrestlers kissing their girlfriends during matches was a major motif. It's clear where they got the idea for that one. They have the match, and depending on whether you watch Lila's episode or Bambi's, either the crowd is bored or they really dig it. In the end, Roddy advises Bambi not to follow too strongly in her mother's footsteps, only for her to do so anyway, while he gives Lila some harsh yet surprisingly gentle criticism.
Take a break from the business. Walk away. And if you're thinking clearly, don't come back.
But hang on, is he saying you'll come back or don't come back?
And if you're thinking clearly, don't come back. Don't come back. Don't come back. Don't come back.
Oh, he's saying don't come back. Got it. So that's my look back at the Roddy Piper edition of World of Hurt. And as neat as it was to have seen him sharing screen time with my main man D'Lo in the UK, this was a far more compelling use of him. The execution in World of Hurt is just as repetitive as ITV Celebrity Wrestling, but at least we have some emotional depth and plenty of memorable moments. And I appreciated how they were able to get two very different stories out of one match, even editing the matches differently to suit each wrestler. But the more of these reality shows I cover for the channel, the more I realize that they're often more of a work than pro wrestling itself. This show had a fairly decent success rate as far as wrestling documentaries are concerned, because most of the people involved are still in wrestling today or have only just recently walked away from the business. Taya Valkyrie has obviously done well for herself, having worked for all the major American promotions over the years. Brady Malibu recently had some matches in ROH as well. Most everyone on the show is still working on the independents. You can even find Bambi Hall and Randy Myers on POW Pro Wrestling. But regardless of where they've ended up, all these men and women have something pretty awesome in common. Getting to be under the tutelage of Roddy frickin' Piper had to have been an incredible experience, which I would have gladly jumped at, even if it meant letting him bore a hole into my very soul. Did you see either of these shows? What did you think of Celebrity Wrestling or World of Hurt? Let me know in the comments section below. And thanks so much to the people who were involved in these shows that I got to talk to in my research for this episode, who really provided some awesome insight into these shows. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.
It's a beautiful melody. No, it's good. Did you take lessons? Did you take lessons when you were a kid? Really? Oh. That's kind of surprising. I took some too. Okay, I think I'm good now. All right.